super quick success, and also for the really best scenario.
I see we've got one question there that's just come in before we end. What's the best way to find out what the customer wants?
There are many techniques, and we have literally 1 minute, so there'll be the shortest speech ever. So like spend more time with them. People like, look, how you might reach them. Those are already in your CRMs. Send those folks who are literally working for you, and then give them more time that they could speak with them and literally know them more. So there's no better way that dedicate more time towards that. And then the last comment from my side. No, we exchange like bold ideas, but you are at the forefront of that fact. So we want to say a lot of words of respect towards you, and among us all who are here, I feel we need to help you, and we need to act responsibly. So in case you want to partner with us, like with Microsoft Startups, definitely talk to Victoria Przybylska from Polish subsidiary me, and then we would be happy to continue.
Great.
So
Thank
maybe
Sorry,
question from my side to Alexander, who asked this question. So maybe please read the Steve Blank book, The First Steps to the Epiphany, and the basic rule is just get out of the building. I think this book should help you with defining how to talk to client.
Great, guys. Thank you for your time. Honestly, I had a lot more questions. I didn't think we'd go so quickly, but listen, thank you, everyone. Fantastic insights, really helpful, and look forward to doing it all again at some stage in the future. Thank you, guys, and have a great day. Enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you very much.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Hello again. It's wonderful to see you all again, albeit virtually. Okay, so we're moving to the next part of our presentation. What I would really like you to do is to have a look at a short video about how to use the expo booths. There's a lot of interesting information and a lot of interesting people to talk to at the booths and find out what our partners and sponsors do and how they can help you as a startup or as an investor to make connections. So please have a look at the short video that explains what the virtual booths are and how they work. And also make sure that you pop over to one of our partners' booth, MITEF. It's really interesting what they have to offer and definitely a lot to learn. So also, what is tremendously important that you do go over and have a look at the pitching contest that is happening. So have a look how our startups are doing and make sure you cheer them on.
Hello Wolves! I hope you're enjoying this amazing online event, 100 Wolves online pitching contest. But have you already been to the expo area? It works like a traditional expo, it's just online. You can see the booths of different startups, investors and corporations. You can ask questions, connect and learn about the ecosystem trends. The best part of it is that you don't have to go anywhere. You can do it from the comfort of your own chair. Do you have some time now? Please visit the expo area and make the most of your access to 100 Wolves. Bye!
For the judging, it takes some time to load, so please be patient and bear with us. Basically, if there's anything that you'd like to add, it's to the listeners, just write it in the comment section. Also, if you have some questions that you think our judges could ask, you can also suggest something to them. Okay, so I can see that Robert is trying to join from Xcord Startup. Okay, it should be loading now. All right. Hello.
Hello.
Are you sharing your screen, Robert?
Yeah, yes, I can do it.
All right, so I can see that you're ready. So 3, 2, 1, go. The stage is yours.
Okay, I will switch off the camera to don't interrupt the presentation, my face. Okay, let's start it. Hello, I'm Robert from Xcord. We help import and export companies not to lose money. Exchange rates are changing all the time. This can have negative impact on the business of importing and exporting companies on the world. Very important task is to manage currency position. The solution is very simple. Xcord, software as a service tool for importers and exporters around the world to prevent money being lost. You can see on the screen 2 versions, desktop and mobile. Entrepreneur can see how his business looks related to current currency rates. He can wait or make his business safe. The company needs the tool the most, has more than 500 transactions per year, turnover more than $500,000 USD, and exchange rate is key factor in margin level. Tool is important to people who make exchange in a company. Xcord has a schedule to get 3,000 companies in 3 years. The main competition are independent owners with spreadsheets and financial institutions offering derivatives. Xcord is a comprehensive solution to review of all aspect exchange rate risk in a company. You can see the team. We have all necessary competences on the board, and these people have international experiences from the business. Our schedule, our schedule is to develop application, make hard integrations with 2 banks and ERP system, especially to, hold a second, I think I made a mistake with the, yes, here, sorry. Our schedule is to develop application, make hard integrations with 2 banks and ERP system, especially to e-commerces. It allows us to achieve regular revenues. And the question, are you investor, client, mentor? Feel free to join to our mission to help exporters and importers. And thank you for watching me. I'm ready to hear your questions.
Yeah, so we can start a bit early. Good to have you back on screen. So Artur, do you have any questions for Robert?
Yeah, of course, multiple, but I will not have the time to ask all of them. The first question is, how do you monetize?
We have the fee from the transactions always users from the bank, and we improve this business model because we have 2 deals with 2 financial institutions, one offering derivatives on the market, and second typical spot transactions.
And how big is the fee for me as a customer, or?
Our fee is 0.005 pips.
Okay, and the second question is, what is your target group? I mean, it seems that it's small companies, or who are you targeting?
Our target is companies which has more than 500 transactions per year. Because if you have a lot of transactions, a lot of moments when the current exchange rate risk born, you have to cover or make safe your business. If you have 2 or 3 transactions per week or per month, you know, it's not typical our customer.
Okay, and my last question, just to give our second judge some time. What's your USP? I mean, all the big companies that I had the pleasure to work in or work with, they have systems like this. They have plugins like this. They get it from the banks or from the suppliers of their ERP systems. So if you are targeting small companies, what is your USP comparing to the competitive landscape that you're working in?
We are working. Our advantage on the market is some kind of bridge between edutech, because sometimes we need to say what is the forward, for example, because people don't know what is a forward, and they don't understand how buy the currency on some due date and be safe. And Xcort is some kind of bridge between people who don't understand these financial issues and people who are who has a lot of knowledge about it and looking for the calculator as some kind of hedging platform. Maybe is too big word, but some kind of looking for some solutions to spin all chain. I mean, from the exchange rate born to save the business. And our good point is the chain and simplify.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Robert.
Hello.
According to your answer, I want to ask you how you planning actually to get the customer on your board. How you plan to reach the customers?
Now we are working on many chambers of business people in Poland, and we are working in networking associations to get these people directly, and that's our first experience. But second scenario and second work is to make networking with the banks to develop the application and build around the derivatives, for example, in this application, and go through the channel of banking customers and people who making exchanges.
Right, we have 25 seconds left, so I don't know if I'm going to ask one more question, but I just want to ask you, what is the weakest link, in your plan? What can fail on the way?
What can fail? The trust. Trust is a problem, and education is a problem. Trust because people don't trust new startups, new solutions, and financial area is some kind of hidden area in companies, and that's it can be first problem. But the second problem is the education.
Thanks, Robert. Thanks. Actually, we have to wrap it up because the time is up. Thank you. If you'd like to add something to your website, do it in the comments section here. And yeah, so we will shortly dial in our next startup. I think it's loading, and he should be here shortly. Oh, hi. How are you? Are you sharing your screen?
Yes. I did click the button to share my screen, but I think it's not working.
You have to choose the application window. You have to actually choose what you want to share. So then you'll be able to click.
There we go.
Yeah. All right. So 3, 2, 1, go. The stage is yours.
Let's go. Okay. So thank you. My name is Maciek, and I represent Holohome. So our idea is a marketplace for furniture and home decor, done in AR technology in the front, mixing with cloud technology and machine learning in the back. So if you take one thing from this presentation, I would like you to think about Holohome as kind of a tender for furniture. So on one side, we will have furniture and home decor companies, and on the other side, we would like to have interested individuals. So the main benefit for the companies will be that the 3D objects of their furniture will have metadata that will be fed into machine learning algorithm. So this way, companies will be able to reach new customers based on their needs in an automatic way. And we also are implementing our infrastructure in a methodology called knowledge-based engineering, which basically allows them to edit the content of the application through the cloud without any technical knowledge. So this way, it can scale up fast. So we want to create it. We want to have it as a new e-commerce channel. So on the B2C side, we actually had research done that shopping in AR is a better visual and functional experience. So the market size is 50 billion zloty on the supply side. This is the companies that produce furniture and home decor elements in Poland. And the demand side is 300 to 600 million zloty. This is because 90% of supply is exported abroad. And the COVID situation kind of changed everything. So there's a lot of sales actually being moved to the internet. So we want to have income from digitization of the products, cut from the sales on the platform, cloud fees, and analytics, and it will be completely free from for the individuals. When it comes to technology behind it, we are actually nailing down an automatic way to scan 3D objects, and we're implementing some advanced AR algorithms. When it comes to competition, there's a similar player present on the US market. It's called House. It's a tech giant worth $4 billion. When it comes to Europe, the closest competition is IKEA Place. The team consists of me and Adam, my business partner. We both have 4 years in VR and AR. And our dev team, Kuba and Piotr. Piotr actually has the most experience, 13 years. Kuba has 5. And we're also have a few mentors who know the furniture business well, namely Mr. Wiktorski. We're actually between seed and pre-seed, looking for 200,000 zloty to scale up the digitization process. And we want to start at the end of third quarter. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's kick off the questions. Marcin, do you have any questions for Maciej?
Yeah, I would like, hello, Maciej. I would like to ask you, what is so unique about your solution which haven't got your competitors?
Well, the main competition is House. It's present on the US market, and I guess it will be very hard to compete with House. But when it comes to Europe, and this is the market that we're focusing on, there's actually a void. IKEA, for example, only serves products that are, of course, IKEA. And there's not really a different company operating on the market who actually sells in AR.
Okay, and how are you planning to reach your customer?
Well, the B2B side, we're planning to do it with Mr. Wiktorski. He's actually conducting market research for us, where he will reach out to 60 different companies, and kind of through the research, we will ask them if they're ready to, if they would be interested in selling in AR in the COVID situation. And this is kind of like how we want to reach the B2B. And once we have B2B on board, and when we when we will digitize products for them, and we want to do it for free at this stage, we want to reach a critical mass of between 3,000 to 5,000 objects, and then release it to B2C, to the individuals. So basically, individuals can download the app and play with it. The object will be there, and we expect it to be attention grabbing application, to be honest.
Okay, and the last question quickly, how are you going to earn the money? How the business going to earn the money?
Well, we will spend the first year kind of investing in the business, attracting companies and attracting B2C. And once it's finished, once we have a position on the market, then we can charge the clients for the things I have mentioned before, which is digitization of products, sales from the e-commerce channel, access to the cloud, fees for the cloud, and analytics. So this is in the horizon of like 1 to 2 years from now.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Maciej.
So, hi, Maciej.
Hello.
It's pretty hard to open a marketplace, especially these days where the competition is selling mostly online, and this will not change so fast. And they will have even more means to grab their customers. And you guys are trying to use, like an augmented reality gimmick. Sorry for saying that, but it's just an app. And you want to force the customer to download an app and have a marketplace in it. I'm trying to wrap my head around it. How will this work?
Well, to force a client, I wouldn't say it's forcing. I would say we have to generate as much value so the client would like to download it himself or herself. It might be idealistic or you know kind of like a dreamy, but I think it might be doable.
I'm a big fan of AR and VR, but I think it will be very, very hard to build a marketplace itself. But then to add this big step of forcing someone to download an app, I would probably pivot and do a white label system where you digitize and you sell your solution to all the online shops. This would be way easier and you would get way more money. It will be way more scalable, and we as VCs would believe in it. That's my point of view, to be honest.
Thank you.
And this is doable for sure.
Thank you.
Great. Okay. Thank you, Maciej.
Thanks.
So time is up. If you'd like to add something, you can write it in the comment section. So thank you very much. Okay. So right now I am adding Gabriel Dymowski from DoxyChain. I hope that you're there with us. So I already clicked. And for you judges, I'd like to remind you to fill out the forms. You probably know about it. You have it in the calendar. So so please do that. Hello, Gabriel.
Hello.
Hi. Are you sharing your screen?
Yeah, trying.
Great. Okay. We can see it. So if you're ready, we can start.
Yeah.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
I'm sitting since week at my home office, and maybe guys, you get the same experience. And all of us using digital tools at home, but the question is, they are really secure. And we have noticed these problems since 2018. And even if you receive an email, then you can electronically sign it. The question is, what about old action taken then? Are you sure that they are securely stored in immutable way? And this is Revolution and security. Our solution gives you a full security for paperless contract and legal papers. And we turn the revolution into evolution. Our team comes from the Warsaw University of Technology. We are the members of the special task force in Polish ministry. And what is the most important, we find finally the traction in a well-recognized entities, which is a legal firm. My name is Gabriel Dymowski. I'm the CEO and the co-founder of DoxyChain. The team, I'm very proud of this. And our know-how is coming from the financial institution, from the corporates and the legal firms. And we have a great balance of tech guys, lawyer, and the senior managers. And this solution is built for you and for your company. And just as swiping with a finger, you can easily sign any kind of document using our platform. And here is how it's secure. We are using a permission blockchain technology. And since creating, sign, and managing documents, all taken action will be noticed in a distributed ledger. And now take your phone and order an Uber. It's instant. It's happening in a minute. And we give you the power to bring your lawyer on your mobile devices. And we perfectly know the market. And I'm sure that some of you guys know this tool as well. But remember, they are the only single features. And DoxyChain focus to deliver the holistic platform to manage any action which you can imagine within the document management. And there is a huge market. Left side, you can see what we would like to achieve. And on the right side of this slide, you can see what we need right now to create a beautiful product. That's it. Thank you so much. We are starting the testing of our application, and I will be more than happy if you contact us to test with us our solution. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabriel. So I think that we can kick off the questions. Good to have you back. So Artur, would you like to start this time?
Hi, Gabriel. Nice to see you again. It's already 2 days since we have seen each other on the pitch, which was on Monday. Congratulations on the winning.
Thank you.
I will ask some new questions right now, going a little bit more into the details. So the first one is, how secure are you? What kind of encryption are you using?
Actually, we are using a Tendermint protocol. which is well known, maybe like Hyperledger Republic, but it's like the second very, very good and open source protocol if it comes to blockchain.
Okay, and now the biggest question. You are talking about the competition that you have right now, but those companies are companies that are on the market since 10 years. I took some time, and there's a lot of going on as it goes to other startups that are pitching right now, that are winning, that are raising. What's your idea? Because we know about your USPs, you have a whole suite, a very good solution, but how will you enter the market in a situation where you compete with probably 2-3 other startups in Europe that will get nice funding? What's your secret sauce? What's your growth hacking idea? How will you get your customers? Because Google AdWords and Facebook and LinkedIn tricks will not work. What's the secret here? How will you reach your?
Love this question, Artur. Thank you so much. And thanks to our first implementation, we set a whole niche if it comes to legal tech. And right now we are talking with another legal firm which says we love to have such solution, which is backed by blockchain technology. And we know the competitors very well. So the technology itself, it will be not such advantage. But we know how to enter this niche and address this niche, which is the legal firms at the very first stage. So we would like address legal firms.
So you will address legal firms, okay? But legal firms are being addressed by different companies. Okay, so what you have to do. Good idea, but what you have to do, you have to analyze a little bit all those companies that concentrate on legal tech, where document signing is a part of it, because there's also a lot going on in this part of the market. I wish you all the best. Good luck, and Marcin, ask your questions.
Thank you, Artur. Thank you. Yes, first of all, I would like to know. Who is exactly your customer? I mean, what's the profile of the customer? How big is this market for potential customers?
We are targeting the small and medium enterprises, actually, and individuals. But then we will be ready, like within 2 hours, to create a white label solution, which will allow us to reach as well as the corporations, which would like to digitalize the documents using blockchain technology.
Right.
So small and medium individuals, and if you will be strong enough and well recognition, we would like to target the enterprise, the corporation as well.
So what's your plan? How are you going to attract them to basically, in simply words, to come and use your solution?
Small and medium individuals or corporations, because it's another story behind each.
Yeah. Small and medium.
Small and medium. We would like to deliver them the SaaS, software as a service solution, to very easily manage the documents. It comes about the internal document and those for external purpose, to creating contracts with their clients, for example. Because we see that even if our user experience, how this product will be created, we have an advantage in comparison to even Polish market players.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. I don't have any further questions. Maybe Artur, you have some, so feel free.
We have 15 seconds left. It's not enough, but I think it will be tough, to be honest. But I believe in the team, and I have seen them already a lot of times. So, Gabriel,
keep
on fighting.
Thank you,
Marcin.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Gabriel. Okay. So now we'll have Victoria joining us from Streamly.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey. Yes, we can. Everything works perfectly. So if you can share your screen, then we can start. And I believe that this will be the last pitch of the day, but maybe we'll be able to get in touch with Radosław. So we'll see. But it may be the last pitch, of this session. If I say today, then
can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is for everyone. If you'd like to see the screen on the screen that Victoria is sharing on full screen, double click on it, and it should help. All right. So if you're ready, Victoria, 3, 2, 1, go. The stage is yours.
Okay. There is a revolution in distribution of live stream content. Now it's not the TV, but millions of independent broadcasters, and they are called streamers, and they stream from their comms. There are 3 million streamers live each month, but they are too small to work with brands on their own, and streaming platforms like Twitch or YouTube exploit it by claiming ownership of the broadcast. At InStreamly, we have a different vision. Streamers can earn just as the platforms do. InStreamly is a technology that allows to manage and place content in hundreds of streams automatically. Thanks to this, streamers have control of their content and freedom to earn money on that. On the marketplace, streamers connect with brands directly and earn money by displaying sponsored content in their stream. Brands work with hundreds of streamers simultaneously. Business model is quite simple. Brands sign short-term sponsorship deals with streamers. Brands' content is displayed in the stream in an automated way. Streamers get paid and we get a fee from the transaction. And it's actually market proven. In Q4 2019, over 1,000 streamers used InStreamly to participate in multiple campaigns, offering over 4.5 million views of their content of the sponsored content in their stream. But combining thousands of independent broadcasters into one network offers a great advertisement opportunities. But recently, it came out as really much more than just this. Streamers reach young people who do not trust politicians and traditional media. When the epidemic broke out, we launched a campaign that informed the viewers to stay at home. Hundreds of streamers participated in the action, and in just a few days, we reached 400,000 people. Next steps. There are many entities that cooperate with streamers, for example, esport organizations, and all of this work is done manually. They need a solution to manage and monetize their streamers. We deliver this solution as a SaaS tool. We have clients like G2 Esports or Big testing out the tool, and they love it. The SaaS clients enter the marketplace, and brands can start working with their streamers through the marketplace. And it's nothing without a team, and our team is great. It's a team of experienced esports streaming and marketing professionals, and I'm sure that it would be hard to find such good team in CE or even the whole Europe if it was not us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, so we can start with the questions. Martin, do you have any questions for Victoria?
Yeah, of course. Thank you very much. Hello, Victoria.
Hello.
I just want to ask you why the streamers will come to you rather than your competitors.
Okay. They would come to us because we offer them not only a tool to monetize their viewers, but also it's a new business model. It's a new business model for streamers too. But we also will offer them some kind of help in community and stream growth. So on one hand, they can monetize their viewership, and on the other hand, the incentive will be also learning how to make this viewership bigger.
So if that's the new business model for streamers, how are you gonna inform them that you entered the market?
We currently inform them in social media. We reached them out directly, and we found out that what is really important is just the whisper marketing, that streamers are sharing this tool with each other, because most of streamer tools just go out through community by other streamers using it.
So who's the average streamer?
Who's the average streamer? Okay, average streamer is mostly male, around 20, and their viewership is about the same age.
And how much money they are willing to pay for your service?
Okay, the streamers don't pay the money. The streamers earn money through our service. So the brands pay the money to us and to streamers to reach their viewership. Their viewers are very hard to reach. They use AdBlock, they play games and do not watch television. So the streamers do not have to pay for their service. The streamers are benefiting from it.
All right. So where is the weakest link then?
The weakest link?
Yeah.
The weakest link that right now there are not so many streaming platforms, and they think they bring out the rules. So streamers are used to only one way of earning on their stream, and we are bringing in a new way. And we have to break the wall and make them know and be able to comprehend that there are some other things to do in this field.
Okay, thank you much. No further questions.
Thanks.
Hi, Victoria.
Hello.
I'm a friend of Maciej, and I know Shimon pretty good. I analyze you guys, and I know my friends invested, so I know the topic very good. So I will also ask here a little bit more deeply questions. Marcin asked about what is the weakest link. Well, the weakest link is Twitch itself, because Twitch itself might shut you off within 1 day. Are you not scared, Victoria?
We are not scared. We are prepared to defend our streamers, because we think that the cooperation model with the platforms the streamers have available right now is just exploitative. So they cannot shut us down in one click. It's harder than this. We analyze this. So of course we are searching to go to other platforms and work with other models. But on the other hand, we want to change the world, the market, how it is, and yeah.
What we have realized is that the most critical point is time to market, because your solution isn't unique. Everyone can do it. It's just getting the reach and getting all the European markets as fast as possible. So now you have cash on your bank account, probably already soon. How does it look like? What countries are you targeting, and how do you want to reach your audience in those countries?
We are targeting.
Talking about not about streamers, because that's the easy topic. I mean about your paying customers, media agencies, and big corporations.
Okay, directly from the biggest marketing agencies in Poland. For example, some Group M agencies. They saw that we had great outcomes in Poland, and they just reach out to other agencies in other markets. So we are expanding mostly to Germany and Turkey.
So word of mouth right now.
Yeah, mostly word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Victoria.
Thank you
for being here with us again. All right, so I think that we won't have any more startups presenting with us today, but as I informed you, judges, you can, you could prepare something about yourselves, because I'm sure that many other startups are watching. So if you'd like to let them know where you're from, what you're doing, and maybe instead of the clock, I'll try to share Artur's website, if you can see it.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, so Artur, the stage is yours.
So hi, we are Sunfish Partners VC. We are a Berlin-based VC that invests in Polish deep tech startups. Our ticket size is mostly 2 million, and we reserve an additional 2 million for a follow-up round, which in most cases happens after 1 year. We concentrate on B2B deep tech software, and we like teams that are ambitious and that are targeting Europe and hopefully as soon as possible the whole world. And we are still investing. We just made one investment, which we will announce next week. We are one of the biggest early stage funds in Poland with 75 million zloty. And I would be very happy to have a lot of pitches on my email, which I will post on the chat. And on the other hand, you can just go to our webpage, sunfish.vc, and then you can also submit your pitch deck, and then it will be analyzed by our team. Thanks a lot, and good luck for everyone.
Thank you, Artur. So I think that Marcin got disconnected, but hopefully he'll get back to us. Or maybe he did it, on purpose to have just you pitching. Not sure.
I think he disconnected.
Okay. So let's see if Marcin can click share audio and video one more time.
The fifth startup isn't showing off, yes?
No.
Okay.
No. So
having the audience, guys, if you need some help, if you need some support, if you would like to know a little bit deeper how a VC works, how we assess pitch decks, how to prepare a company, I always open to talks and to share my knowledge. I'm very happy to meet new people and to brainstorm and to cooperate. So everyone is welcome, especially if your business is in Poland and you have something meaningful to bring to the table.
Super. Thank you very much. I can scroll lower on your website as well. I'm not sure if Martin can hear us. So Arthur, thank you very much for being here. I will wait a little bit, but I want thank you very much for your time. Make sure to fill out the forms, send them to
Already did.
Oh, you did already. Okay, so that's wonderful. Okay, in this case, thank you very much, and I'll wait a little bit for Martin. So thanks, and see you around on the conference.
Thanks all. Have a nice day.
Thank
See you. Bye.
Okay. So we will wait a little bit.
Hello again. Right, so it is with great pleasure that I would like to introduce the next presentation that will be led by Magda Jabłońska from MIT EF, and she will be talking about why startups need acceleration programs. So a very important presentation with a lot of tips and how to do that. And why you should be really doing it and how they can help you. So please tune in.
Hello everyone, my name is Magda Jabłońska. I'm CEO of MIT Enterprise Forum Central and Eastern Europe Accelerator. Today I would like to share with you a few tips how to choose best accelerator, and also I would like to encourage you to choose our accelerator, and I will tell you why. Just let me share my screen. So okay. There is some technical problem I have with I cannot see my presentation on my screen. However, I will try to do it again. So I still cannot see. Okay, it's a bit. So you cannot see my presentation anyway. I will let you know what's in it. So how to choose best accelerator for your startup. So first of all, you have to think about why you're going to join an accelerator, and why, and you should start how you can be committed to the accelerator. And first, think about your startup, how you are committed to your startup, and why it's a good time for you to join acceleration program and work on your startup. So so the next question you may ask yourself is, are you coachable? Oh, and what's your attitude? So if you are not coachable, it means that you don't want to learn. So why you are choosing acceleration programs? So if you don't want to learn, then it's not probably a best situation to be in acceleration program. So before I go further, so if you can let me know if you can hear me well, yes, and okay, thanks. So the next thing is the network that accelerator create, because there are some ecosystem around acceleration program that it's worth to join. So let's imagine that you are a B2B company that wanna collaborate with banks. So whether the acceleration program provide you with some relevant network to the banks or to the expert in that field. And the next thing is whether this acceleration enable you access to funding or clients. What are you looking for? So are there any business partners that you can work with, or there are not? The next thing is also whether acceleration program requires from you time and relocation commitment. There are certain accelerators that require relocating your people, your team to co-working space, or relocating your company to a different country. So please check whether you can do it and whether it's relevant to your business and stage of maturity. And what kind of resources can you gain in acceleration program in general, whether they are resources that are relevant to your company or that you need them in this moment of time. It is also worth to ask alumni of this acceleration program for their feedback, but remember, there is no accelerator best for everyone. So please mind that accelerators can't be the last shot at success. It should be treated as a support for your company to grow, not as a last possibility to verify if you are able to do any business. So what are the benefits of the startups if they join accelerator that is sponsored by corporations? So from the corporation side, so why they support acceleration program? Because they see a possibility of early access to new technologies and ideas how to solve their current business challenges. There is also an opportunity to organize pipeline for new investments and look for business opportunities for them. And of course, for many of corporations, it's a way how to change corporate culture, make it more entrepreneurial, more innovative. And the last thing is also image that they create on the market, that they are innovative company leader in technologies. From the startup side, the corporate partners are a best source of additional resources like experts, infrastructure necessary to test or validate startups, technology and business model, and of course, access to great business relations and distribution channels and suppliers. There is also opportunity to verify product market fit. There is also opportunity to additional funding. You gain credibility, and it's also the benefit of such an acceleration program. and collaboration with corporate partners is branding, and the brand name of your partner and PR that is behind this collaboration. So in the end, think of the possibilities for innovation if corporations and startups merge their unique skill sets. So we look for win-win situations. So we see the intentions are good. So there is a high probability that win-win situation and outcomes, such outcomes will be possible too. So regarding MIT Enterprise Forum CE accelerators, what's in it for startups and what kind of startups that would be, for what kind of startups that would be a best fit? So MIT Enterprise Forum as an organization is 40 years old, and it was founded at MIT by students and people that wanted to support each other to organize their businesses. And now it's a network of 19 organizations all around the world. We are representing chapter responsible for Poland and Central and Eastern Europe region, and we want to support technology company in that region. So far, during last 5 years, we supported over 160 startups in 8 editions of accelerations. We organize partnerships with corporate partners that we invite to our program in 8 vertical tracks. So the acceleration program is interesting for startups that, for B2B startups, first of all, and then we offer support for companies that develop technologies in fintech, insurtech, energy sector, smart buildings, Industry 4.0, digital media, health tech, medtech, digital health, martech, sustainability, and waste management. So variety of industry are covered by our accelerators, and this is thanks to partnerships with corporations that support our accelerators and provide market feedback to startups that are joining our accelerator. So elements of the program are, so we provide workshops organized in very disciplined way because we follow 24 steps of discipline entrepreneurship of Professor William Oleg from MIT. So it's a good methodology how to validate your business, its stability, whether it's anti-fragile or not. We organize Pitch Academy session with Linda Plain, a very famous and effective in supporting startups to how to organize their pitch to investors and to business partners. We provide network of mentors that support our startups. This mentors work is for not for they are not working and they are not paid for that mentoring, which is very good if such a network of mentors exists in Accelerator, because they are really driven by passion and a need to support startups, not by money. Cooperation with corporate partners is also what we organize during acceleration, and dedicated services that are necessary for the startups at the very beginning of their growth. In the next edition that we are, so to this edition, we are in the process of recruitment. We organize acceleration with partners such as Adamet, Coca-Cola, MCX, TVN, Solers, PZU, Nationale Nederlanden, and MDI Energia, which are corporate partners, and they represent different industries, and they are ready to collaborate with startups and organize proof of concept project that will be aimed at validation of your business model technology in a real environment, so they can organize with you use case and which should end up in some business case. So it's an opportunity to get knowledge about the industry, to validate your business, and to gain a client or business partner. So we also offer, thanks to European Union funds, we can cover costs of this this proof of concept project. So we are able to grant startups with on average 100K of Polish zloty. So this money goes to startups directly, and the startup can cover costs of organizing pilot project with corporate partners. The ultimate goal for startups in our program is to be a finalist of the program, and finalists are enabled to join Boston Bootcamp. It's a unique week-long event that enables our startups and finalists to get familiar with the US market, business partners, and to meet with them. We organize demo days, we organize advisory session, mentoring session with the US mentors, so they support our startups during this week and organize for them knowledge and also organize for them business meetings. In this edition, we are also very happy that CVC Capital Partners decided to join our program, and so we could incorporate CVC Young Innovator Award to our program. So those startups that are participants of next edition and fulfill the condition of the award, which is that the team member, at least one team member, is not older than 30 years old, and these startups has a great social impact. So we choose one finalist of this award, and this finalist is awarded around 22K euro in cash. So regarding timeline of our program, we expect that until 28th of June, there are a lot of applicants applying to our online platform, and we see a lot of application, and we can select from them in a 3-stage process our participants of our next edition of our accelerators. This process is long, but it's also beneficial for startups, because even though you are not selected to the program, you have the opportunity to either get feedback from 3 independent judges that are assigned to verify your application. And so these are people from not only Poland, but also other countries. So US, Israel, Australia. So there are people from everywhere that are assigned to our platform, and they are judges and evaluate applications. And then you can also, those selected to the next stage can also have opportunity to talk to business partners, I mean corporations that are our partners, and validate ideas with them. So you get great feedback in the evaluation process. So once you are accepted to the program, the next acceleration starts on November the 5th, and we aim to organize for this cohort a demo day on 14th of January. And Boston Bootcamp for 5 best finalists will be organized next year, probably in October, provided that we will be living in a free world. I mean, we will be able to travel to the US. So summing up, I encourage you to verify if MIT Enterprise Forum Central and Eastern Europe Acceleration Program is the best fit for you. As I said, it's for B2B startups that have solutions to different, relevant for different industries, especially for if they address challenges that our corporate partners are listing, and these informations are available on our website. So if you address this challenge, so probably this program would be a best fit for you, because you can get not only knowledge and support and network that will enable your growth of your business, but also you can get first client or next client, or you can get access to the Polish market if you are startup from abroad. So we also, because we are granting EU funds in this program, there will be a need to relocate your business. I mean, to set up a daughter company if you are startups from abroad in Poland, but it is required only if you are accepted to the program. It's not required at the recruitment stage. So please apply. And if you have any questions, I encourage you to ask them to my team, which is available all day in our booth. So please join virtual booth and talk to us how you can best benefit from the program and whether it is for you. So thank you for today, and I hope my information I was talking about was interesting for you. Sorry, I couldn't share my screen and my presentation, but I hope my speech was clear and everything was interesting.
Hello again. Righty-ho, so we're moving along to the next things. So please make sure that you visit the expo area. Lots of interesting things are going on there. So don't be shy, pop over and say hello. Now, there's next thing that also will be happening right now, and it's a video, and it's a really interesting video about who will survive COVID-19, the road to recovery, riding on innovation. And I would really encourage you to listen to that. Again, a lot of interesting background information and tips about what you can do as a startup to survive and ride the storm of COVID-19. Now, the next thing we have brought over in response to what you asked for is roundtable. This session will be just 3 roundtables. Each of them are 15 minutes long, and 3 of them are dedicated to separate issues. One of them is the US product, user experience product. The next one is marketing, and the third one is public speaking. There is no moderator, so what you need to do, you need to pick the topic that interests you, join that roundtable session with others, and have a chat about this particular issue. After 15 minutes, this roundtable session will be over, and then you will have an option to go to the next roundtable that will talk about another topic. So make sure you have a look, you take part in a conversation, and make sure that you stick to a particular topic. You will get an option to dip in to all 3 different topics. So have fun and see you soon.
Fantastic to be here in Warsaw and in Poland.
Microsoft and our partner ecosystem are creating artificially intelligence-infused solutions to help you make your business more intelligent. There are many examples already. The future is here today. We want to contribute to the growth of the Polish economy and for the Polish Digital Valley to become a reality.
Devnil, welcome back. It's been a while since we did the last video, which was almost about 3 to 4 weeks back. And in this dynamically changing situation, as the world is coming out of the COVID and economies and cities are now opening up from their lockdowns, the whole world is looking towards the US Main Street and the Wall Street. From that perspective, we would like to have your views on how the US and China, which is the biggest producer, the two main producers and the consumers in the world, are impacting the world as we move forward. Why do you think that innovation always accelerates in the time of a crisis such as now in COVID?
Because in a crisis, we are all damn scared. The employees are scared of losing their jobs. The employers, the businesses, they are not sure whether they will have a business down the road. And the boardrooms are scared of losing market share, falling in a value trap, and even getting into hostile takeovers. And that's where whoever is agile, who is nimble, can quickly adapt to the new world order.
So Devnil, why do you think that the tech sector is holding out so strong? Except with the exception of certain old tech like say IBM or HP, new age tech is almost at a lifetime high or a 52-week high. Whereas classical sectors like real estate or oil and gas or even the high street banking sectors, travel, tourism, leisure, they're all being beaten down to the bare bones. What's your take on that?
Technology is the bedrock of innovation. It's the harbinger for doing things faster, better, and cheaper. In times of crisis, enabled by technology, new products and service offerings comes into the marketplace that solves the very big problem that is staring on our face.
What do you think are the key disruptive innovations that are going to gain significant momentum around this COVID situation, which are going to steal the thunder from established brands?
The way we see things from here on, we see essentially 3 or 4 main disruptive technological innovations that is going to really take the wind off the sail of established players. The first one is basically the robotics and artificial intelligence. The second is energy storage, and the third will be gene therapies. If you add a 4th one to that, it will be essentially, it could be a blockchain-led disruption of the fintech space through digital wallets and cryptos. So if you look at innovations in terms of robotics and in terms of artificial intelligence, we will now see a lot of protectionism playing out, and we will see a lot of supply chain is getting recreated and realigned, not so much on offshore but near shore as well as onshore. But then in onshore and all, we do not have the skills. So robots and artificial intelligence will actually play a significant role in making things happen. In this space, especially if you look at the recent gigafactory of Tesla that came out in China, where the productions are happening when US Fremont factory is closed. 15 months time from ground zero, the factory has been put in place. Much of that factory is mechanical without human touch, and probably the highest amount of mechanization that you can see in any automobile factory anywhere in the world. So these are the things that will enable people to move near shore or onshore. For example, look, Apple's phone. We can't have skills overnight in America to make those phones. But if there is a very high level of automation as well as through robots and artificial intelligence, is the machines who could produce these near shore or onshore. So that's where a very big disruption is going to happen. Then when we come to energy and storage, the main play, if you see, the batteries are actually disrupting the whole oil and gas world. And we don't expect to see any time the $60 oil anymore. Instead, probably what we will see is somewhere in a median of about $30, and won't be surprised if over time these barrel prices goes down to 20 and even below, to even single digits sooner than later. That's a huge disruption. That's a whole set of sectors that are coming down. So it's going to be a very big disruption, a very big transition that will happen from oil economies and oil exporters. At the same time, you look at this way, the lower oil prices will enable the oil importing economies in a very big way. And especially that will be one of the reasons, despite all these QEs that is being done, 3 trillion and already counting, we probably will not see inflation in the near term because the oil being a very important input cost will continue to remain quite benign and muted over a fairly long period of time. So importing economies like India and all should get significantly benefited from this transition that's going to happen. Then comes areas like cryptos, blockchains. A huge amount of QE is being provided. 3 trillion in the last count, and it's still continuing. More are on the plan. And this is just American Fed. Now with so much of a liquidity flowing into the system, ideally it should lead into a significant amount of inflation, maybe hyperinflation. Second problem is, how do you make sure that this money, liquidity, flows into the hands of the people who need it most? If you look at M1, the money supply, the amount of money that has been thrown into the system in the 6 weeks actually exceeds the money that was thrown into the system in the entire global financial crisis of 2008. But with so much of a liquidity coming in, then there are outliers like PayPal through its Venmo, Square through its Cash App, then players like Intuit. They have a far better understanding of smaller businesses' balance sheet, and they are able to lend money. Recently in the Square conference call, if you see, the management gave us an outline that they have been distributing larger sums of money, a significantly large sum of money, to the bottom of the pyramid in the American economy with an average loan book size of $12,000. Now, if you compare that with JP Morgan Chase's or maybe Wells Fargo's or Bank of America's loan book, the minimum ticket size will be $120,000. And there they do not even have any standard operating procedure to evaluate and give loans to these businesses that needs the most, who can support the employment the most, who can create the velocity within the economy the most. And this is where, there is a value migration happening from the established banking players to these outliers who will get a significant traction now through their digital wallets. And in this, what will happen is that there will be customers who will permanently be lost from the banks and into these outlier operators like PayPal and Squares and Intuit. This is a significant transition again for the economy, and this will never come back. And that will only accelerate as we go along, because these service providers will also not stay there. They will keep on adding newer and newer services. They will keep on getting more and more wallet share of these small businesses that are in a very different scale, who cannot be addressed by the Main Street banks. For a Main Street bank loan, maybe these businesses have to wait for 7 days. Yet at the end of 7 days, they probably will get a denial. On the other hand, with PayPals and Squares of the world, they will probably get their loans in 7 hours, because PayPal and Squares, they already have an idea of how much these businesses are receiving every day and how much they are spending every day, and hence it's very easy for them to give them a facility to tide over this crisis. So these are like very significant changes that is going to happen into the economy, and this will be like permanent changes. And this is where, you know, we will see the Main Street banking arena will completely transition from here, leaving one or two very quality balance sheet with a very quality leadership staying out there, staying put there, but most of the other banks will actually go to the margin. Exactly what is happening through batteries, EVs and robots to the automobile industry. Most of the automobile players today will actually be going back into their castle, closing out their moats, focusing back into their traditional businesses and trying to make them survive. Therefore, all their initiatives towards EV, etc. will all fall off the cliff and get slowed down. This is the time when people are now going to buy more cars because they are not trusting sharing the shared economy. They are not trusting traveling in public transports, and therefore more and more people, the airlines are not available for them to fly from one city to another. So therefore they will drive between cities rather than fly. And that's where the need for the car, the demand for the cars and vehicles will come up, and this leaves EV players like Tesla with a very clear head start, which they can now capitalize on, because they have nowhere else to put their allocation. They will be putting more and more allocation into their EV plants, and that's where, and in production of electric vehicles, and that's where they will literally take off from here, while the Main Street automobile industry will actually suffer an irreparable loss, which probably they will not be able to overcome anytime soon. And then comes a very important, probably the last segment is basically gene sequencing. If you really look at it, this time we did significantly better than what we did during SARS in terms of finding the strain of this virus and get to the test kits. How did you get those test kits? The test kits were possible because we could sequence these genes very quickly. And that could happen because today, due to technological advancement, since SARS in 2004 and so on, we are in a much better position to actually read the genes and then write the genes and then sequence them. And that's where in a matter of days we have been able to produce the testing kits, which otherwise we would have been in a very bad situation without the kits. The problem is that we couldn't distribute the kit in time. The same way now, if we extrapolate the whole thing, we are now heading into a scenario where instead of doing an annual medical checkup where blood tests are conducted, we will now be doing a sequencing on our gene. And then we will try to see where and how it is mutating since we did it last year during the annual checkup. And in the process, we will be able to find out within the gene what are the things that are having now short circuit or something wrongly getting wired in its circuit. And that's where we will be able to get third stage, fourth stage disease, which otherwise manifests other than being in a third or a fourth stage. We will be able to get them very, very early in the day, like pancreatic cancer. Normally it is only manifests at the fourth stage. We can't even get it because we are looking at wrong parameters. If you look at gene sequencing, we will probably be able to get them much early. And from here, we can also do very targeted medication to treat these kind of terminal illnesses.
Why do you think Wall Street analysts miss disruptive innovations by miles? They looked at disbelief when Apple or Amazon or even now Tesla happened. And this continues to be the phenomena. What's your take on that?
It's actually a very good question. Wall Street analysts get it all wrong and miss it by miles is because they are extremely, extremely value oriented. And that's why they cannot figure out the growth stories. What I mean by that is essentially, what are they trying to do? They are basically trying to extrapolate a trend. They are trying to do trend analysis. But when you are really looking at disruption and disruptions that are led by innovative use of technology, there is no trend. It's your imagination and in your belief in the team that is implementing that disruption in their ability to actually pull things out of the woods. So that's a very different game plan. You have to actually look more at what is being done every day rather than what has happened in the past. The Wall Street analysts also get it very, very wrong because the whole analyst world is actually verticalized. They are all within silos. So there is an analyst who is only talking about automobile. He's an automobile analyst. But if you really, really look at it, they don't get Tesla because Tesla is not an automobile company only. Then what is it? It is a robotics company. It's an AI company. It's an electric vehicle company. It's a battery company. It's again a company which has got big data. Just imagine 700,000 Tesla cars that are going around the world, being driven by you, me. Every night they are sending data back, the driving data back to Tesla. And that's where Tesla is mining them to fine tune its autonomous driving algorithms. That's where they are looking for making their own chip for autonomous driving. Now if you tell an Wall Street analyst, they will just give it a thumbs drive, saying that why an automobile company is getting into a space of NVIDIA, of designing a chip, and getting in the space of maybe Taiwan Semiconductor to make a chip. But if you really, really look back and wind the clock, in 2007, before iPhone was launched, Apple precisely did this. Those days, the phone chips were all made by the chip makers. And that's where all used by Nokias and Ericssons and Motorola's of the world, Blackberries. But when it came to Apple, Apple decided to make its own chip because they found that if they have to disrupt the status quo of the existing industry, it has to be through chip. And that chip cannot be the same chip that everyone else, the industry leaders, the stalwarts are using. So Apple went in for chip making. The analyst community gave as many thumbs down as they can, bad mouthed as much as they could, but then everything else is history. Today, Nokia, Blackberries, Ericssons are not there. And it's just a déjà vu. The same thing is now happening with Tesla. Again, they are getting it wrong. So that's the basic. And that is why if you see how we approach the whole process, we don't put our analysts on a vertical scale. And this is something you are very much privy to. Our analysts are actually on a horizontal scale. They are rather looking for technology and what technology can do in their bottom-up analysis rather than trying to extrapolate the trend. That's a very different play that we play in this ball game. Our playbook is very different. Our analysts are in a very different playbook than the Wall Street analysts, and that's why they never get it. The moment they see 100 PE, they fall from the cliff, from the chairs. They say, oh, okay, discard. But 100 PE is for a reason. Rather, G's 5 PE is actually a value trap. G will progressively remain there and probably never ever will be able to come back since the days of Jack Welch. And it's time, therefore, to move on to something else. Even in these times when you see that technology has literally led a march, stands out in the rubble that has been put across by coronavirus, across oil and gas, across banking, across real estate, across transportation, leisure, tourism. How come technology stood out like that? And within that, if you really, really see, the old technology hasn't stood out. HPs and IBMs didn't do well. Cisco's didn't do well. It's the new technologies that they are either at their lifetime high, like Amazon. Again, another place where Wall Street missed it by miles for several years. The Wall Street analysts who 10 years back said Amazon will belly up, today are the biggest bulls on Amazon. But 10 years has passed in the process. And that is why if you look at disruptive technology and invest in disruptive technology, it's so much of a game-changing wealth creator than any other sector.
We are live.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our online fundraising roadshow. And we started today with our panel discussion, The Laws of Investments During the COVID-19 Pandemic. And our speakers today include Kyle Chas, CEO of Master Ventures, Kevin Pang, CEO of Legatus Global, Giampaolo Parigi, venture capitalist, chairman of Single Family Office, board member, speaker, and author, Nipun Agarwal, the head of projects, V-Star Group, and business and growth strategy advisor, the Talk app, Tech Hub, and Bullion. And in the second half of our today's event, we have online pitch competition with the following participants. It's Penghang Zhuang, CEO founder of Morpheus Labs, and Rick Esselstein, CEO of GE Corporation. So I introduce the regional director of Singapore, Soni Mohanty, to start our panel discussion with our honorable speakers. Welcome, Soni.
Thank you, Nadia. Hi, everyone. My name is Soni Mohanty. I'm the regional director of La Token, and I'm based in Singapore. Welcome to another session of Online Blockchain Economic Forum. Let me introduce you to our keynote speakers. We've got a very interesting lineup. The first speaker of the evening is Kyle Chase, who is a founder and CEO of Master Ventures. And the topic he's going to talk about is the mass adoption of crypto, and very specifically on the issues with liquidity in exchanges and how can that be addressed. Kyle, over to you now.
Sure. Okay, so hey everybody, my name is Kyle. I'm the CEO of Master Ventures and Crypto Exchange Alliance, or CEA for short. You know, what we're doing is we're developing a platform that will instantly solve the #1 challenge for digital asset exchanges, which is the lack of liquidity. You know, there are currently thousands of exchanges, resulting in liquidity becoming fragmented. Exchanges are now dependent on liquidity providers. Legacy liquidity suppliers are expensive and don't really solve like the underlying issues, or the underlying problems that exchanges have. Exchanges are now in desperate need of a real solution. With the digital asset market expected to reach 27 trillion by 2027, this creates an unbelievable opportunity. CEA solves the root problem by aggregating all member exchanges' liquidity into a single universal order book, so exchanges can fill orders with one another and leverage each other's liquidity. To date, 23 exchanges have signed, accounting, yeah, so, and I think also, Soni, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we'll have a partnership here with La Token coming up as well. So that's kind of my intro, and thank you for having me.
Great, fantastic, that was well in time. We move on to the next keynote speaker, Kevin Pang, who is the CEO of Legatus Global. And he's going to speak on a topic, how merchant ecosystems drive the adoption of cryptocurrency. Over to you, Kevin.
Hi, thank you. Okay, my name is Kevin. I'm actually the CEO of Legatus Global, a company that helps to actually move cryptocurrency to fiat currency and the other way around again. So our key customers are exchanges and basic crypto players. So the topic I'm talking about today is that how merchant ecosystem will help to drive the adoption of cryptocurrency. So as you know, Bitcoin as a cryptocurrency is the 6th world's most circulated currency if you consider digital currency as currency, right? Number 6 in the world, bigger than some of the countries in the world. Secondly, is in total, cryptocurrency circulation is 15% of the US dollar circulation in the world right now. So it is coming quickly up ever since 10 years ago when Bitcoin was first minted and was being used as a form of transaction. Yes, came a long way together with other cryptocurrencies. So how do we actually drive adoption of cryptocurrency, other than the fact that right now majority of the use of cryptocurrency is for trading, right? People trade cryptocurrency to make a profit of it, but that is not sustainable. The only sustainable is that in payments, right, to ensure that it is being adopted not just for investing but also for payment purposes and other users. So the key one is, after investing, is always payments, because I think on the minds of everyone is payment to both retail payments to wholesale as well. Now, in some of the other countries, like in Latin America, where there's encountering hyperinflation as well as volatility in currency, even countries like Turkey, there's been a huge spike of adoption of cryptocurrency in terms of not just for investing but for payment. Like for instance, in Venezuela right now, in order to buy a piece of a loaf of bread, you actually have to carry a kilogram of notes to actually buy the bread. So countries like these are now trying to see if they can adopt cryptocurrency to do for payments. Thailand, etc., and countries where it's regulated, they have coming up laws to actually help cryptocurrency to be adopted as a payment source. So you will see more of this coming out in the next couple of months going forward, especially with now the COVID. There's a stress on digital payments, and cryptocurrency is now being seen as a form of payment versus the traditional digital payment itself. Yes, this is probably, I'll end it here. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you so much, Kevin, for that keynote. Let's move on to the next speaker. We have Nipun Agarwal, who is the head of projects at FedStar Group and business and growth strategy advisor for the Talk app, Tech Hub, and the Bullion. Over to you, Nipun. And he's going to talk. Yeah,
sorry, continue.
The topic you are going to speak today is challenges faced by new startups and how can they learn from successful startups. Thank you. Over to you.
Right. Thank you, Sonny. Thank you so much. So basically, I've been assisting projects for the past 7-8 years, where I've not only set up an incubator and accelerator here in Mumbai, Navi Mumbai actually. We've assisted over a period of last 6 years. We've managed to launch close to 23 projects, out of which 16 are successfully running businesses. I'd say that I had a great chance to be a big contributing factor to those projects in several ways. Majorly, my niche is in helping business manage sustainably and grow successfully as well. So I handle projects from every stage, right from ideation up till execution, fundraising, and so on. What we've observed over the past couple of years when it comes to startups is a lot of players that are out there who generally come up with a new idea. They only focus on certain elements of the overall business, just like, so there's a lot of excitement when it comes up with projects. So managing optimism, and they meet, in that optimism and excitement, they sometimes oversight through little things which is why you need business advisors, I'd say. Then there is finding the sweet spot, between balance personally and professionally is also a critical element. I'd say allowing roadblocks that slow down businesses, just like COVID situation has happened over a period of the last couple of months, I'd say has impacted a lot of businesses. And the ability to change with these specific roadblocks. And I would say wanting to do everything yourself internally and being afraid of your IPR issues has been another massive issue with majority startups, So finding a right partner and the willingness to collaborate and move and grow together should be another focus area for most startups, is what I feel.
Great. Thank you for that keynote. Moving on to the next speaker, we have Giampaolo Parighi, who is the venture capitalist, chairman, single family office, board member, speaker, and author. And he's today going to speak about the need for tech startups to reach critical mass through multiple mergers. Over to you, Giampaolo. Thank you.
Thank you, Sonny. Hey, good day, everyone. My name is Giampaolo Parighi. And as you know, I'm a venture capitalist. Now, one of the things that we are going to witness, and it was already clearly forming before COVID came into play, is the fact that too many technology startups are simply lacking of the
We can't hear you properly, Giampaolo, sorry.
Necessary resource.
Okay, we can't hear you. We've lost you. I'm passing the floor now to Nadia to start the pitch competition. I think Giampaolo is in the train. That's why we can't hear him properly. Nadia?
Seed stage and let's say
passing the floor
early
to you.
stage or pre-series A stage. Now, can you hear me better now?
Hi, Giampaolo.
Can you hear me?
We can give you a word afterwards.
I
After
don't know
the
if
pitch
you can. I
competition.
can address this in the next.
Yes.
Can you hear
So
me?
we start our pitch competition then, and later on, Giampaolo will share his topic with us. So the first speech competition is from Peng Han. Could you please start with a brief introduction on yourself and the company? Peihan, we don't hear you because you're muted.
Okay, sorry. Okay,
Yeah,
my name is
that's
Peihan.
okay.
I'm founder of Morpheus Lab, the powerful blockchain development platform. So a brief introduction of myself. I have actually previously successfully exited my previous company, and have actually been spending quite a few years on building Morpheus Lab. And a brief background is that I have good working experience, marketing experience with big brands such as like Scoot, Singapore Airlines, Prince Hotel Group, Taiwan Tourism Board, and majority I'm actually focusing on business development in emerging markets. So I have another two co-founders. One of them is actually Doria, who is actually a group CIO from UniCredit Bank. He has experience of implementing around €2 billion of IT initiative across his banking group. And next is actually Bruce. He was actually from IBM, a senior tech leader, also architect who actually helped IBM in Singapore to implement a few solutions, especially blockchain solution in the banking customers in Southeast Asia. So what we found for past few years until now is that there's actually quite critical issues for blockchain, which is actually related to its adoption, which I think we have been actually identifying. Is actually everybody actually crying. There's actually how come there's actually such low adoption. There's not many use cases around. I think typically it's actually for three reasons that we can zoom in. One of them is actually currently is still quite expensive to find a good blockchain talents. Another one is actually still quite time consuming for us to fumble around all the massive information to find a good application for us to reference, to build on. And the next one is actually more critical. It's actually still quite complex for anyone to build blockchain development, which may still manage in different silos. So these are actually three key issues that we found, which, to be honestly speaking, is that these are actually not unique problem. They actually have been existing in different mature technologies, such as like web development, mobile solution, or RPA and machine learning. It's just that in blockchain, we face the same thing again. So if we look into all those who actually, all those companies who actually go into this technology to solve this problem, these companies are actually right now the unicorns in this particular example. Shopify is actually one-stop shop for e-commerce. UniPath is actually solutions for RPA and so on, which are actually for web development. Just that for blockchain right now, there isn't actually anyone claiming this place yet. So for us, we identify these three problems. Hence, we actually our vision is actually to realize a mass adoption of blockchain technology through our end-to-end platform that simplify blockchain adoption, or we call it a blockchain development. Yeah. So for us, we bring on the table three values. One is actually we help any developer to reduce the time, around 60% of your development time, and also 70% of your cost. And the lastly is actually to make your development more easier, to help you implement and develop fast. So we have about three core technologies. We call it three core features. One of them actually right now in the market, we are the only one offer you around 9 blockchain for you to switch around. You can actually jump from Neo to Ethereum to VeChain to Icon, whichever you like, anytime within just a few seconds. And then we also offer application library, which for you can actually go in and browse whichever is actually more suitable for you. And then you can actually download, customize it, and actually push it to life. And the next one is actually more relevant to current environment, which is actually a collaborative development environment that actually allowed your team member from different part of the world to work together anytime, any place. So that's actually our three core features. So let's just put a scenario how you actually use our platform. So example, you are a tech guy, you can actually just log on to our platform cloud-based. And once you log in, you can actually use GitHub to log in, or maybe LinkedIn or your account to log in. And then subsequently, you can actually choose from whichever blockchain you want within just a few seconds, switch around to see which one is actually most stable. After that, you can actually just, just example I mentioned, maybe you want to create a room inventory system for your hotel. You can just browse a similar solution and download it. You actually open up in your workspace for your team to work on together. It can be from India to Singapore to Europe to China. And even for project manager, maybe you are actually about to actually onboard to a flight. You can just just look in the mobile phone to keep track what is actually your colleagues' progress. Yeah. So you actually open up and you can just co-create together and then push it to life. Yeah. So for
Beihang, do you want also to share your pitch deck with the screen sharing?
Yes.
Or?
Actually, I want to share, but it's actually disabled. I'm not able to share. It's actually disabled. Hello?
Yes, just share screen, the green button.
Yes, yes, it's disabled. Host is disabled my screen sharing.
Oh.
Yes, somebody disable my screen.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, no worries.
So do you want me to try again?
Yes, can you try again to see if it is, because there is no functionality that we can disable it as far as I can see, unless there is some technical glitch.
No, I think it's still disabled.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So are you done with the presentation?
Almost done.
Okay, carry on, please. Continue.
Okay, sure. Okay, so
Sonny, maybe you can share it on your screen. Is that possible?
No,
Yes.
because the host disabled my sharing functionality.
Beihang, can you send your pitch deck to the chat in Zoom so I can share it from my end? I'll try that.
Okay, just a second. I'll send to WhatsApp group.
Okay.
Let me see a second.
You can continue. Sorry.
Yeah, let me drag into the place first. Because actually, I think we are using Zoom, so the bandwidth and the computer is actually slightly slow for me to drag over. But I'm seeing it is actually completing soon. Okay, so it's actually dragging over.
No, so you have sent it to the group chat, right?
Yes, I'm sending it to a group chat. So, but it's still running. It's actually the circle is running. So I guess it's because we are using Zoom, so it's actually a bit slow.
Okay.
Yeah, but I guess it will take a few seconds. It's still running. Alternatively, let me see. Have you received? No, it's still running. Let me send a link. Because the attachment is still, I think the file is actually not small, so it's still running. So I send a link over, so it'll be easier.
Okay.
Have you received?
Yeah, received.
Mm.
I'm downloading it, and then I'll probably save it first.
Okay, you can continue in the meanwhile, and Sonny will launch the screen as soon as she's ready. Okay.
Okay, so I was actually at the simple scenario of how you use our platform. So after that, open up the workspace, which actually you'll be working on the solution that which you downloaded from our application library, and done. You can actually push to live. So for us, we're actually a SaaS company, which our business model is actually majority on subscription. And let me see, I'm actually looking at my screen. Yeah, so we have different tiers. I think for right now is that for past few years for blockchain, we are actually very focused on tokens and crypto. But what we are seeing since last quarter, we have been seeing that especially China, presidency has been actually declaring that China would be the wants to be the number one and a leader in blockchain. Since then, we actually been seeing a lot of these use cases being pushed live. We've been seeing HSBC, all the major banks actually been doing a lot of this solution out. I think I'm actually at page 10. Yeah, it's actually Gartner Hype Graph. Yeah. Yeah, this one. Yes. Yeah. So we actually already through the bottom and we actually pick it up. So of course, that whether it's actually any investment asset, whether it's a property or stock market, we know that once we are actually through the bottom, is the best time to go in right now. So next page is actually the opportunities that we know that blockchain market is huge. It's actually super huge, 3.1 trillion. That is actually the whole blockchain. But for the blockchain development cost, is actually about 21 billion, which is actually we are focusing on. So over here, it shows that TAM, SOM, and SAM. So just a bottom down, what are the market size that we are looking at? So the next page is actually more interesting, is that since we launched last year, April, we have already become a go-to platform for a lot of these famous blockchain. So you'll be seeing that our current partners right now, and we actually onboarded one of the only 3 blockchain from China, which is actually acknowledged by China government, which is actually Conflux by Tsinghua Universities. And of course, our dear friend Geek is also here as well. Yes. And the next one is actually our traction. Yeah. So interesting is that since last year, April until now, we have, for our user, we are actually focusing on developers. So we have more than 1,600 developer users currently using our platform, subscribe to our platform. 31% is actually from enterprise. The rest is actually individual. And we have some interesting metric to keep track. For the bottom, you actually see the project and application, which means that more than 1,200 project has been initiated using our platform. Yeah. So the next one, I'll just quickly browse through is actually our go-to-market strategy. What makes us different is that we are focusing on B2B2B. So which means we actually are riding on our channel partners, which is actually our customers. And I'm not able to share their name right now because they are actually quite a big companies. So I have to seek for the endorsement before I share. So that's the reason why I'm not sharing over here. So the last page is that, of course, this pitch competition. We would want to aim for our expansion for next growth. So we are actually looking at an equity round of fundraising at $3 million, which we are pushing out our version 2.0 in I think in less than a week or 2 time. So yeah, so that is how we'll be using our funds. So the rest is actually some of the other information like some of our users endorsement. So hopefully I've actually shared clearly on what we do and what we have done and what we aim to do. So yeah, thank you, Sonny.
Thank you so much. And I will pass the floor to Rick as well. Would you also introduce yourself and your project? You are muted, Rick.
Am I live?
Yes, yes.
Great, terrific. Thanks, Sunny. Everyone, like I said, greetings, judges, and a warm welcome to Geeks Around the World. The purpose of, I guess, for me today is to offer just a quick snapshot, kind of a high-level overview of the who, what, where, and why around Geek. And with any luck, we leave folks sufficiently intrigued and interested and possibly even excited to learn more about the Geek project and even become a geek. So just again, quick introduction. My name is Rick Asselstein, Waterloo, Ontario based Geek Corporation. I partnered with Vanderbilt economics professor, Dr. John Conley, after reading an article that he wrote in probably the spring of 2017. And the article is called Blockchain and the Economics of Crypto Tokens and Initial Coin Offerings. He actually wrote the article following a sabbatical that he did at Microsoft, where he read 80 white papers. And he kind of came up finding that this space was quite wanting. I must confess that my initial reaction after reading the article was, first of all, this guy's a brilliant individual. He's able to make complex things simple. And he had a heck of a sense of humor, to the point where you would even want to read the footnotes of his article. So anyway, it formed a great relationship. And it turned out that John had been working on actually a protocol that overcomes the limitations of the incumbents. I think Peihan was mentioning, some of the limitations that actually still exist. And those are the ones that we seek to overcome. And so John and I and the entire team have been working on this ever since. So what is it that we've been working on? So we've developed a patent pending layer 1 multi-instance blockchain protocol called Proof of Honesty. I like to call it a fact machine. It offers 99% BZT security at worst, 1,000 transactions per second, user cost of 1/100th of a penny, scalable to any level, completely chain-to-chain interoperable. And I guess, and again, I don't want to glance over that too quickly, because I mean, the amount of technology is just it's stunningly amazing. And hats off to the entire team, John, Stephanie, and so on and so forth. But I guess where I get most excited is what this uniquely enables. It uniquely enables an entirely new category of commerce, a new way to communicate, interact, and transact. So in terms of the wins, the company was formed in early 2018. And ever since we've actually managed the company by 4 C's. Because again, there's the amount of complexity, as we all know, around this space is immense. But if you can distill it down to 4 C's, I think you're in good shape. So basically, we look at code, commercial interest, community, and compliance. So our code is actively underway. We, with any luck, get to mainnet in 9 to 12 months. The commercial interest, as again, as Peihan mentioned, it's across the board for us. We've had conversations around smart city, supply chain, IoT, creatives democratization, telecom, energy management. Again, the space is very broad. But what we're also doing is to sort of fast forward the adoption. Is what we're also doing is we're actually building 2 of our own sort of homegrown applications, so that we can demonstrate, and that goes right from the protocol level up to the hash level, up to the UI UX, so that you can demonstrate the true benefit of what the Geek platform is able to pull off. And with any luck, what we'd like to do is be in a position where we can beta test that, so that the public, so that mass adoption, they can actually see exactly what the benefits of the platform are. In terms of community, thanks to our head of crypto, Hans Sundby, we have a very active, engaged, and what I'm very heartened about is the subject matter expertise that our global community has. And this is, it's established, it's around the world. And with any luck, I get to meet, a whole bunch of the folks that I've actually never met, but I'd love to meet going forward. And now that's also in the growth phase. Obviously, another real key piece for any project, but to us in particular, we feel is that we want to focus on all 3 of these C's, but the 4th is compliance. So we've been working actually pre-day 1 on compliance with a law firm here in Canada called Gallings WLG to ensure best of breed compliance all the way along. So in terms of the where, this call is actually highly representative of that. We were and are born global. Co-founders Dr. John Conley and Dr. Stephanie So, our amazing Chief Development Officer, who Sunny, I know you've met, are Nashville-based. Lun Shen is our Chief Architect, and fascinatingly, Lun was employee number 18 at Intuit. So he gets billion-dollar scale-ups, and he's in the Valley. Another advisor, Dr. Eric Ball, is the former treasurer of Oracle. And he's, again, along with Lun, he's Silicon Valley based. Again, also billion-dollar scale-up savvy. Advisor Dr. Rex Yeep is Singapore-based, as is our wonderful development partner, Morpheus Labs. Terrific job, Peihan. So how will we create value? I guess that's the key question. You know, when you look at it both from a token valuation standpoint, when you look at it from an equity valuation standpoint, we believe that quantity creates its own quality. I'm going to do that again because that needs to sink in. Quantity creates its own quality. So what we believe is, in our particular case, ultra-high transaction volume at nearly invisible cost generates value. And thanks to our no-code code, our no consensus mechanism, which I invite everyone to zoom in on a call with John and I going forward so that he can actually explain that in detail, allows new foundations to be laid. An example, just an example of what the Geek platform can accomplish. A securely hourly recording of an irrevocably transparent reporting of any event comes in at 90 cents per year using the Geek platform. 1 billion transactions would generate $3.3 million in margin for Geek Corporation. So they typically say small changes have large effects. I say small charges have large effects. And again, you know, we know the stats. As an example, IoT telemetry, as we were talking about, will generate trillions of transactions in the coming years. That doesn't even contemplate the number of objects that can be tokenized. Charitable donation landings assured. So again, the use cases for blockchain, as we've talked about, are basically boundless, and the Geek platform enables to support all of those. So just to summarize, to wrap up, finally, why? Like basically, why be a geek? We think there are three main reasons. The first is that we come at the approach to validation differently than anybody else in the world. When you look at proof of stake, when you look at proof of work, you look at DAGs, they all suffer from what I call the fox in the henhouse syndrome. With proof of honesty, the farmer is in charge of everything. So incentives are aligned. We believe we've assembled all the elements necessary to unleash the potential of blockchain. And third, unlike we believe we have the team and the tech that can do it. And what I'd like to do is kind of wrap up with a quote from John, who's probably watching in. John, Stephanie, everyone, hello. Because I think it captures him and I think it captures us really nicely. So here we go. The point is not that Rick or Geek or I are so smart. It is not that the rest of the space is so dumb. What I see is that in almost every case, something is missing. This is mostly because any given team is not likely to have expertise in one or more of the essential dimensions. And this is critical because the dimensions are as follows. John actually lists 18 of them, and I'm going to go really, really fast. Management, admin, law, compliance, game theory, mechanism design, behavioral economics, monetary theory, information theory, network design, telecom, and communications protocols, key aspects of theoretical computer science, coding, development, project management, a solid handle on the players in finance, and a world-class crypto digital asset team. And this, as he points out, in itself prevents them from realizing their critical deficiency. So our team actually spans the knowledge space needed to prevent failure in any of these mission critical areas. So the implication is that we basically are very good at knowing what we don't know. This puts us in a much better position to know exactly what we can do. So in summary, this is kind of cool when you look at it this way, but basically Google does searches, Twitter invented tweets, and Facebook invented posts. Geek transforms digital bits into digital atoms via its proof of honesty, via our proof of honesty fact machine. Geek therefore invents provable truth on an exponential scale, creating an entirely new category of commerce, limitless possibilities for a world in need of it now more than ever before. Over to you.
Thank you, Rick. Do we have any feedback from the judges? Kevin, would you like to start?
Yeah, sure. So probably I'll just ask some questions, right?
Yes, if you have them.
Okay. So what are your predictions of areas that investors will desire to invest in and why?
Would you like me to go?
Sure.
Yeah, I think that what's interesting is that in this particular space, there's it's almost a parallel universe, because you have the crypto community, you have that entire world, and then you have the traditional equity world that Gianpaolo has lived in as follows. So what we're finding is that, and what I'm very encouraged about, is the fact that what solves that or resolves that, or what converges these two worlds is adoption. And again, Payhan and I are absolutely in sync with this, because we're complementary, we work together to try to make this happen. But where it all kind of distills down and converges is in the space of transaction volume and transaction value. So what that does is that feeds actually both the equity side and the crypto side. So what we're finding actually interest on both sides. And that again, like I guess the universal language of commerce is revenue and transaction volume and transaction value. So if you can either point to where you have that now, or where you can point to that being relevant and doable, perhaps unlike many, if not most of the other projects out there, then I think that's where you're going to get the win. So I think in our particular case, we find that there's very, very strong interest in both the equity and the token.
Thank you, Kevin. And Kyle, do you have any feedback for both of the projects or questions?
Sorry, I'm not sure if you already answered this or not. I didn't quite catch but it's a utility token, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, and so you don't see a conflict between having equity and then a utility token? Like, where does your loyalty lie, right? I mean, when it comes to regulation, your fiduciary responsibilities to take care of your equity holders. So how do you make sure that you provide enough? I mean, it's difficult enough to launch one business and do it successfully, but in my opinion, when you have an equity and a token, it's like launching two businesses at once. And so, and also it often seems like if someone has thought about how to successfully add value to the token ecosystem, you're kind of, in a way, like half-assing both models. Just so I want to hear if you guys have thought about this, and what your response would be.
Yeah, great question. And I guess it comes back to our 4 C's, because that's where, when you look at a utility token, in other words, what's the true utility of the token? Is it actually being used, to pay validators and the like, and we're very comfortable with that. So when you look at their code, the adoption, again, to make it I guess a true utility, we find that when you distill it up to actually the transaction volume, the transaction value, we don't find a lot of divergence, but rather convergence. And again, we have because we have on the token side, as an example, Kyle, we have, if you have a look at it, we have our algorithmic monetary policy. So what we have is actually we've developed a stabilized coin that is, we think it's going to become the standard, because again, if you look at some of the work that John's done in this area, I guess mechanism design, alignment of incentives, we've been able to accomplish that. We believe very, very strongly that we have actually both of those bases covered. As an example, one of the things that we're working on from the compliance perspective, compliance side, on the equity side, is an offering memorandum on its way to a non-offering prospectus information memorandum. So what you do is you have your compliance on that side of the fence, And then you also have the compliance because you're working your way towards the utility and the use of that. So it's a convergence. We understand that there are these parallel universes, and what we think we're actually successfully doing is creating that convergence. So we feel like we're paying attention to both audiences and converging them, because at the end of the day, these worlds need to come together. They kind of have to, and we feel that we're doing a good job making sure that that's the case. But great question, and worth a really, like, I very much encourage you to have a look at our AMP, because we're pretty proud of that, and John's worked very, very hard on that, and we think it's kind of trend-setting.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm always interested to see how people are approaching this problem. I'm not saying that it can't be done. I'm just saying it's very, very difficult, in my opinion, to do it properly.
Right on. No agree, and no disagreement for sure.
Thank you.
Pei Han, did you also want to comment on that?
Oh no, I think for our part is that once you look at our token model, is that how our utility token actually embedded into our whole system. It's actually, it actually all works on the common business sense. For us, we only look at is equity part and utility part is actually complementing each other. Some of the example, like for any company, there are actually different asset class, whether it's actually equity, bond, or maybe debt. It's actually all different instruments to grow a company. So there's actually a healthy part. Right now, utility is actually a new asset class that actually introduced by crypto into this our new era of blockchain. So it really, I mean, I'm not actually saying it's actually quite easy, but what I'm saying is that we have to look into the utility tokenomics of each company. Does it really actually make sense for the company to do so? Example, for our utility, you need that to actually unlock each type of subscription and different type of functionality. So yeah, so for us, I think we're actually doing quite well, and also they are actually paying customer actually doing that as well. So we are not seeing a huge resistance from a practical view of right now. Yeah.
Thank you. And Nippon, do you have any questions or comments?
No, I think what Rick mentioned, even Pei, the projects seem really exciting from my standpoint, at least. However, I think what Kyle pointed out is also very critical, point of view to consider, especially while merging these two markets, because I've personally never seen both these markets do well together, because investors would like to stay focused on either an equity side or a token side, so utility side. So I think there might be a little bit of friction when it comes to that. That's just my observation, frankly speaking. I think both your projects have great credibility. Your teams are outstanding. I think once you've understood the niche of what your customers actually need and you can target it specifically to them, I think we could see some great momentum for both your projects. From an investor standpoint, I would still suggest that work on the financial elements a little more, in a little more structured fashion. Just my initial 2 bits on these 2 projects. That's what I have.
Thank you. Gianpaolo, could you also?
Yes. Hello. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, sure. Yes.
Okay, good. I heard both presentations, and I as well would have liked to hear a little bit more details as to the financials, because I think this is a unique opportunity to explain and a wider audience of investors that are online and beyond and besides the panel, how you really are going to generate revenues on a sustainable model and form. But anyway, I mean, I think that there is a potential, although I share some of the criticisms regarding equity and tokens being put together. But again, it probably has to be readdressed in a deeper, more coherent way, and probably in another session. I have a question for Pei Han, and this is a geostrategic question. China has long ago determined that it will go setting about its own central bank digital currency, not using blockchain. or rather, it will use blockchain only for the final part of the tier 2 part of its system. How does it see, Peihan, how do you see your company in the context of this quite important strategic decision of China, and as was taken already a long time ago, to not use blockchain as the main backbone architecture for its own central bank digital currency? How does your company plan to benefit somehow or minimize the impacts of these decisions? Thank you.
Okay, I think for China's decision is actually, they actually have a multiverse decision. So we have a few team members, and also we have a customer from China. So for that part of digital currency, I believe they have an approach that is actually more conservative, and also they might want to have more control. However, in another part of a blockchain adoption example, we are seeing a lot of these state government, they're actually pushing different type of blockchain adoption, such as like Guangzhou, Shanghai. They're actually pushing, example, solar energy trading, and also some of the supply chain in, let me see, Chengdu. It's actually at the west side of China. So what we are focusing is actually more, our adoption right now, we are focusing is actually more towards a supply chain and other commercial usage. So for that part, we actually see a lot of synergy from that. Just take another example, such as there's actually a lot of projects between China and Singapore on blockchain. Example, they actually a supply chain, trade finance projects. So for us, China is actually running a two vertical. One is actually crypto related, which they have a lot of agenda behind. So hopefully I won't get caught by anyone. Okay, another one is actually more open and more push is actually blockchain adoption. So we are actually at this vertical. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Gianpaolo, do you have any more comments? Or would you like to proceed with your topic on the need for tech startups to reach critical mass through multiple mergers?
Yes, and I apologize for before I was riding a train, and so the connection got lost just when it was my turn to speak. I think, as I was saying, that most technology companies will have trouble raising substantial capital as it's required for their full plans to be deployed to the market. And this is because, we're living in a very mathematic, fluid economy. This was already before COVID came into play. And I think it would be more so even after COVID, let's say, becomes embedded in the system, as we are all trying to embed it in the system at a physiological level, that, it will not utterly disturb the economy. And everything will become more expensive. Runways will become shorter. So I think companies have, particularly technology companies in the startup ecosystem, will have to end up merging together. I'm working on this and trying to put together through multiple mergers and roll up system a number of these technology companies, because I think an only critical mass, once achieved, can be of interest to most of the sophisticated alternative investors out there. And I mean single family offices like ours, but I also mean a certain number of nano cap and micro cap VC firms that are still targeting larger amounts. And I think entrepreneurs by and large are still a long way to go in terms of getting in tune with the 21st century demands of the financial and capital markets. I think there is a huge gap, a huge discrepancy between what the market wants in terms of investment offerings and what the entrepreneurs market is offering in terms of structures that are compatible and palatable for most of these accredited investors. So I think there's a huge arbitrage opportunity inside, and I think the survival of the chances of success of many of these companies go through the eye of the needle of merging with fellow companies, that used to be competitors and can become partners in a roll-up. And this is something I'm working on. And of course, companies that would be interested in this, I'd be happy to to speak to them and to review them with my team and see if they're compatible with our model. Definitely, I think this is one of the features and drivers of the next few years. I mean, for sure, to ensure that companies can raise, and after they've raised, they can grow. Thank you so much, Nadia. Back to you.
Thank you, and I'm passing the floor to Sonny to continue with the Q&A on the keynotes and projects. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Nadia. Thanks for that. I would like to start with Kevin because he touched upon the payment tokens. I would like to know, first of all, what do you think about the online sessions that we are having from the roadshows that we have from LaToken? And second is, what do you think is the future of payment currency? Is it like going to be Bitcoin, Libra, or CBDC, and why? Thank you.
Just let me thank you. Let me just quickly answer about the first question about, how is the event going on. I think it's good. I think this platform presents a very good opportunity for very good projects to present themselves to not just the public, but also to potential investors as well. So I think it was very well organized, and I think the topics are clearly articulated well. And I hear from both projects has been like very good projects, and in terms of that, so I think definitely a very good platform to help projects like the two tonight to actually find the audience that they want to find. So I think, yeah, well done. Okay, so to answer your question about the currency, right? So my take on the three that I just mentioned, Bitcoin, Libra, which the service now is called Novi, but Libra is the currency, as well as the CBDC, which is the country's digital currency. So I will just believe that all three will still exist. There's not one that is going to be overshooting the other. Why? Right? Unless one is able to drastically kind of like influence the monetary policy without political interference. If not, it will not be someone that, will not be the one that lordship over all the other currency. For instance, Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been around for quite a number of years, right? 10 years, right? But it has never met mainstream adoption in many areas because of monetary policy. It is not recognized in most countries as a financial instrument. It's recognized as a goods, right? So, which is why a good thing in some countries where because of that, they are not being regulated in a sense. So they don't influence monetary policy. Now, if you look at Libra, there's another thing similar to that in the sense that while they can actually issue stable coins for the country, right, in terms of doing it, but they are not kind of like designed for wholesale use, right? They have their own network you can actually to deploy on, and it's actually targeted at retail because I think that's where the first thing come on, which is why they are not working with the banks. So because of that, they have this limited ability to actually affect monetary policy, and of course, some countries, they may feel comfortable to let Libra to go ahead with doing what they want in terms of getting onto the network and doing some retail business for payments and all that, but nothing on the wholesale. So the thing is that the regulators and all that, as long as they do not retain any sort of regulatory control in terms of wholesale, will not be adopted as a mainstream currency. Now, last but not least, of course, coming to the country's CBDC. Now, every country is talking about their own and all that, but yes, it affects the country's monetary policy, but it may also negatively being influenced by, or say being taken upon by other countries, like in the case of China's RMB DCP. Now, the thing is that while it's good for trade partners of China, it's viewed very negatively upon by the US because of the trade war. So that will actually limit its actually expansion and use, right? So if you ask me which are the currencies that's going to be on the top, I think none of them will be. They will still exist side by side because they have all different uses for whatever they're doing. Yep, that's my take.
Excellent. They're going to all exist side by side. Awesome. Thank you, Kevin, for that. Next, I'd like to ask Kyle. Kyle, what do you think about online sessions from LaToken? Because you touched upon liquidity, what do you think about IOs and liquidity in general? How can you help startups and founders?
So, so one interesting thing about what we're doing in particular would really dramatically help startups. it's one thing to have your token listed on one exchange. You can do an IEO on, let's say, LaToken or whatever. But for an exchange, or for a product or a project, you're going to want to be on as many exchanges as possible. But typically, whoever is the first person to list the token, if there's a lot of demand for it, that's typically that exchange typically monopolizes a lot of that liquidity, and it's kind of difficult for other exchanges to start offering that token. However, if the exchange that does the IEO is part of Crypto Exchange Alliance, and another exchange is also a member of Crypto Exchange Alliance, and they want to launch that token on their exchange, then they can share liquidity with that one exchange who launched the IEO. And it's important to note too, that won't affect the IEO exchange negatively, because we always prioritize the native order book on the exchange where liquidity might be coming from. So let's say that a project was launched on LaToken, and there was quite a bit of liquidity, and you guys had monopolized that. So any orders, buy and sell orders that could be filled on your exchange natively would be. It's only when you might have some orders that are sitting stagnant on the books that aren't being filled. Maybe there's matching orders for those on another exchange, and that's when you guys can share liquidity with another exchange, for orders that's for people that might want that token. So it's going to help the liquidity for that token across all exchanges who are part of the alliance, and that's something that's will massively. Same thing if there's market makers for a particular project, they could market make on one exchange, but it really helps liquidity for the token across a vast network of exchanges. So it'll really help projects, get out there quicker. And that's good for everybody. That's good for the exchanges, good for the retail investors, good for the early investors, good for the project, good for everybody.
Excellent. And what do you think about this online roadshows from LaToken?
Yeah, it's been great. Thanks for hosting me. I appreciate it. I've done quite a few of these online panels and conferences lately, and it's nice and convenient. Typically to do a panel before, I'd have to fly somewhere in the world, go in a hotel. It's exhausting, blah, blah, blah. But now I could just, be in the course of my normal day and then just pop out for a second, do this panel, and then afterwards get back to work, So it's extremely convenient, which I like.
Awesome. Thank you. I agree to that. Thank you, Kyle. Next, I'd like to move to Rick, because I think he just mentioned that he has not been to these sessions before quite extensively like others. So Rick, we would like to know, how has this platform has helped you today?
Yeah, it's been outstanding. I've really enjoyed it. One of the things that we've done is we've been sort of in, I guess, semi-stealth mode until we got ourselves to the point where we felt that our code had matured to the point, and our thinking had matured to the point where we felt like it was time to raise the profile, and now we're very, very comfortable with that profile raise. And so I would expect that we'll be carrying out many more of these. And as Kyle points out, you don't have to hop on a plane. Although I do miss some of that. As a matter of fact, I miss actually being in person with colleagues around the world.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I do. I miss it, but there's a good part of this, because I got a bucket load of things to do as soon as we're after this. But I very much appreciate the opportunity to connect with people around the world like this, and again, lots of really good guidance, input, advice. So we're excited, and we thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Rick. I'd like to move to Nipun, because you mentor and advise a lot of projects under your portfolio. So what's your best advice to a startup, like a crypto startup, a blockchain startup? They just started last year and the economy got hit. What's your best advice to stay sustainable?
Okay. We usually have a method to go about when to taking up new projects or ideas. It's basically just to evaluate and see where the project stands. Ideally, I would say that before investing millions in the product development, develop an MVP, test out your assumptions, take feedback, modify, and relaunch. Okay. Be conservative when charting out future financials or valuations, because investors don't like to assume or at least see you're being extremely generous with your assumptions, and that they can challenge. They want something, they want to know something, that there's a bigger market out there. So when you are conservative, they know that you can achieve that. So it helps set in a comfort level with the investors when you're conservative on your financials. Then obviously turning opportunities into challenges by introducing meaningful change, change with the tide, see where you can go. Crypto is mostly digital. You don't actually have to physically run around. So while businesses are virtual, make the most of it. Your target customer is out there. They already know how to reach you, and they know how to use your product. So identify their need, focus on the TG more. As soon as you show value to them, I'm sure you will start seeing the response from the other side. So that helps businesses in the long run. Most of the projects that we worked on so far, all of them have been self-sustaining, only because from the start we focused on a business continuity plan. We always had a program in place for situations where things are not the way we expected them to be. So we would have a plan B, plan C in place. So we really didn't have to do much for our business to take a hit initially, but within a week we had something new coming up, something exciting. We reached out to our TG, and boom, we had something different coming up. So we really didn't face those challenges with my current projects right now. Also, I think the key element to know that there is a much larger portion of funds waiting. So don't get complacent when you receive that initial funding. Yeah. So once you have that hang, on your seed funding or your Series A, don't relax. I would suggest that start to get try to aim to what you projected in your financials, because of which you received that funding. Aim for that, and I'm sure that things will fall in place over a period of time. And lastly, I would suggest, it's truly simple. Whichever stage your business is in, make your customers feel like they're winning, or at least gaining a lot of value from your business. That will eventually help your business grow, and sustain through the longer run.
Absolutely. Very good points, very relevant points, Nipun. Thanks a lot for that. Moving on to next, thank you. Peihan, we would like to know, how has today's event helped you? Helped your project?
Sorry, Sunny, I have to actually go. I've got another call I got to take. Is there anything else that you wanted to address or anything, or?
It's okay. Thank you, Carl, for your keynote and your inputs. Really appreciate it. Look forward to
Thank you, guys. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Carl. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Peihan,
Okay.
what's your feedback about the sessions?
Okay, so recently I've been actually attending to a few private and public sessions. So also to present myself to some of the corporation, also using Zoom or maybe Meetup. So I think for today's session, the unique part is that different person actually from different part of the world, we actually exchange from crypto to blockchain. I think there's actually some idea actually come up, and also good communication being exchanged. So that's actually the good part that actually give me more value in bringing back to see, what are the current market right now for crypto,
Right.
and what are other maybe a more our friends over here, what are their thoughts. So we can actually I can bring back to my team to see what are other things we can actually work on as well. Yeah.
So because since you're also looking to raise funds, are you also looking to participate in upcoming sessions, more of these sessions?
Yes, I would be more, because for us, we already, like Nippon have actually rightfully actually stated that for us, we are going to push out our version 2.0. So we are actually already out of this the box. We're actually more into commercial 2.0. So yeah, we're actually going more active and maybe aggressive in marketing and awareness. Yeah. So it'll be I think likely you'll be seeing me everywhere.
Okay.
Yes.
I hope to
Yeah.
see you more on our platform as well. Thank you, Peihan.
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
Gianpaolo, because you are the investment expert, so I would like to know your views about investments. Like a startup that is looking for investments, what should they do? Should they wait for the market to get better? Should they start attending pitch competitions, or what are the different ways to raise funds right now? You're on mute. You're on mute.
Thank you. And I think there was a moment of delay. It's a very profound question. I think by the very fact that the company exists already, I think it shouldn't waste any time. And without further ado, if it has done its homeworks, it should go and raise for whatever it needs to raise. There's a Chinese proverb that says, the best moment to plant a tree was maybe 20 years ago. The second best moment is today. So the reality is there's no time to be lost because, there will be always turbulence in the market. And now there's a COVID. We had numerous financial crises. We had recessions and different cycles, 9/11, earthquakes, tsunamis. There will be always something disturbing the state of quiet. So I think if a company is waiting for that, a state of quiet, I think it's just like a sailor that waits just for the ocean to be without waves. It's really, the mere thought of it is it's even ludicrous to think of. I think if you're an entrepreneur, you got to move to do what you need to do and to do it as quickly as possible, because especially in technology, becoming obsolete, it's part of the game. It's part and parcel of the game, unfortunately. So, you have only as a technology startupper a very limited window of time in which you can bring your, technological advancements to the markets, or else they get old, and before even being brought to service. So I think companies, what I find still, as I say, lacking, other than the critical mass that I mentioned before, by and large, is the capabilities of a lot of entrepreneurs to see the big pictures. Many of them fail to see the big pictures, and not entirely on bad grounds. It's because they are thinking in increments, in installments. They are thinking of raising capital in tidbits. But the reality is you can't write a book and getting funded by the publisher one chapter at a time. Even you reveal your whole plot, and the publisher will decide whether or not to publish your book, or you don't have a book. You could have just an ensemble, scripts, and loose chapters, but they don't make a coherent story. So I think where entrepreneurs have to focus is to develop the full plot. Now, I also realize that sometimes, I guess, I'm a serial entrepreneur myself. Sometimes confronting yourself with the mirror of the reality may also mean that you have to kill your transaction or your venture, because it is simply not a venture that could stand on its own legs. It could be a nice add-on for someone else's venture. It could be some complementary feature for a larger multinational, or, as I say, it wouldn't survive if you don't put it together with some other good ventures, because it's a fact of life. We need at the end of the day, after everything has been said and done, we need critical mass, and we need capital to deploy intellectual capital first, and hard capital to deploy whatever we are inventing to the market. Otherwise, it's just a nice idea and wishful thinking, and risks remaining, just what it is. Just a nice project on the drawing board, but not a real venture. So I think this is what I would like to share with entrepreneurs, especially in the technology space, to really concentrate, make an effort to devise the whole book until the end, with all the numerous plots that any book must contain to entertain the reader and to convince a publisher that the books can be published. Excellent. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Gianpaolo. Thank you for those points. I think for entrepreneurs, founders out there, please don't wait for the storm to pass. Learn to sail through the storm. So thank you. We come to the end of the session. I would like to pass the floor to my co-moderator, Nadia, to end the session. Thank you all. Nadia, over to you.
Thank you, everybody, for participating with us on today's online roadshow. And we welcome you to take part on all of our other formats, including Startup Leaders Clubs, roadshows, masterclasses, and keynotes. Today, we'll also have a Startup Leaders Club devoted to the business model pivot in the era of pandemic, Series 5. And after that, we'll have a keynote from a bestseller author, Staying on the Mechanical Bull, The Power of Resilience in Startup Entrepreneurship, from Cheryl Conti. So please, you're all welcome to join our fireside conversations and develop new formats of interaction between serial entrepreneurs and VC community investors. We wish you all the best for the week and stay healthy, and wish you not only to sustain but to succeed in the current environment. As Gianpaolo pointed out, it's never the best time, but we'll have all the opportunities at hand. We just need to find them. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
you. Bye-bye now.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.